these people, they'll start to take their money and they don't put it back into their business. They don't increase their marketing. They don't make their facilities maybe a little bit nicer or their product quality a little bit better. So they're never innovating. And as a result of that, they're not growing. And if they're not growing, they're dying. Welcome to the Spinoso Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Alex Spinoso. My experience and expertise is in scaling all types of medical businesses, and I'm sharing my journey to having multiple 8-figure companies and hopefully enjoying a 9-figure exit. I'm not telling you you should do this. I'm telling you how I did it, and I hope that helps you. I want to help you build your business, take ownership of your life, and become a better leader at home and at work. And I love to connect with you. As always, guys, if you're a medical entrepreneur, especially, I have free courses available to help you build your medical business. Check out dralexspinoso.com/courses. Check us out on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, everywhere as the Spinoso Podcast, and we'd love to answer your questions on the show. And as always, Miss Amanda May, welcome. You're wearing black again. Went back to the black.
I went
black
back
outfits.
to black. Back to black.
Love it.
I know.
Love it.
Once you go black, you don't go back.
Yeah, that's true. Sean is the blackest black, sexy black man. That's for sure.
Couldn't help it. It was just good timing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Had to throw that in there.
Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Let's get into it. What are we talking about today?
Okay, so today there's the conversation around that old cliche. You have to spend money to make money.
Okay.
Your mindset around that, how you utilize that in business, and what people can think about when it comes to growing and scaling to get to 8 figures. What makes somebody think differently when it comes to spending money to make money? What do you say?
So this is a huge, huge aspect of building your business and growing your company, in that once you start to actually make money, meaning you have more than just your expenses and all of your, I guess, bills paid for out of the business. The issue is a lot of entrepreneurs start to take every single dime that they have out of their company at that point. They start to scrape it. They start to live at a higher level of means. Everything that they do stifles their business, and then they can't understand why their business doesn't grow. Guys, as you're building your business, you need to realize that almost every single dollar for at least the first few years, and some of my friends who have much bigger businesses than me, a decade, every single dollar that they had went back into the business. Every single dollar went back into investing in something. And we do that now. Brent and I have done that more recently in 2024 than we ever have before. Everything has gone back into growing Genesis, expanding Genesis, building a new pharmacy, building strategic partnerships, hiring the best legal team, hiring staff members in our C-suite. We've been pushing it back into the business, into the business, into the business. And you have to do this in order to grow. You have to do this in order to get to the next level.
And these are not just like small incremental spend money, but this is like sometimes huge investments, like costly machinery or new buildings, or, you know, what are some other things that are considered large investments that people would be like, whoa.
Well,
like
acquisitions, really. If you're going to grow really fast, we realize that the acquisition model, instead of building everything that we're doing from the ground up every single time, acquiring other people's companies, and usually that's like a 1 to 3x multiple is going to be their normal valuation. So if they're doing, $500K, it's going to be anywhere from $500K to $1.5 million for their medical clinic. Buying that, investing that type of money in it so that you immediately have patients from day one, that's your biggest part of scaling, is going to be acquiring your competition as you grow.
Yeah, and you've been able to do that like really successfully. The businesses that don't have a lot of overhead, there are some, but this isn't necessarily one of those. So when we're talking about some significant overhead and business expenses, what kind of mindset do you have to have in order to go into an acquisition or building a company like Genesis? And realizing this, you have to invest sometimes huge amounts of money, but you have to invest to make money.
I think there's a misnomer that entrepreneurs are going to build a business and make millions of dollars and, everything will be great. And that's exactly what I thought getting into it and getting started in it. And once you're in it, you realize, well, shit, in order to get to the next level, I am probably going to have to work for free for a fucking while. And I worked for free in Genesis, and free's in quotations because all I took was the ability to pay for rent, pay for food, pay for gas in the cars, and that's it. Everything else went back into the business. So it wasn't free, but essentially I was not getting my normal physician stipend. I wasn't getting my normal hourly rate as a doctor at all. So I was essentially working for free in that aspect. And so was Brent, my business partner, doing all the marketing and the back end stuff and things like that. And a lot of business owners don't realize that. Like, that's what you have to do in order to really scale, in order to really succeed, is that every dollar you get should be going back into the business for a very long time. And what is very long? For some businesses, that's a few years. For some businesses, again, that's a fucking decade. And you have to just continue to do it over and over and over and over. And there's going to be a tipping point where you're investing in the new clinic, investing in the new marketing, investing in the new employees, investing in them, and going out to where finally there's going to be more and more money left over every single month that you're going to be able to take some for yourself. But you can't build a massive business with one person, two people, and all the money that the business makes every single month you take for yourself. So you have to have that mindset of giving up leads to gaining. So that sacrifice leads to success. That, hey, I'm going to have delayed gratification. I'm going to make sure that right now I may want that new car or that new house or that upgraded watch or nice shoes, but you know what? I'm going to wait on those things. I'm going to push it off. I'm going to be really tempted by it, but I'm going to push those temptations out of my sight, out of mind, and focus on the business. And whatever money I was going to put in that, I put a little bit back into the business. It's how those savings apps like Acorn and things like that work. It's, whatever's left over, you just round up, and those little cents, they add up over time. It's the same in your business. The little leftover money that you have, instead of you taking it, you putting it back into building your business, building your assets, maybe a little bit more marketing this month so I get one more patient. Maybe a little bit more in adding this one service, a little bit more lessons, a little bit more training for my staff. And those little wins will add up to bigger and bigger wins and bigger growth.
Yeah. So on the flip side of that, what type of mindset keeps people stuck and not being able to grow into like an 8-figure business when it comes to like spending money to make money?
The inability to honestly take risks. Like, most business owners, all business owners, they take a fucking risk to build the business. They take a risk to start it. And then once they start making money, they forget about taking those risks. They feel comfortable and they're like, well, I'm good with this. Or they might not even say they're good with this. They just stop taking risks. They stop taking the money that they did and investing in themselves and investing in something future. And they always think, what if? Well, what if this goes wrong? And what if this goes wrong? And what if this goes wrong? What if has killed more dreams than fucking anything on planet Earth? And I see it all the time with entrepreneurs where they will get worried about $1,400 a month for a management fee. And they think, oh my God, $1,400 a month, that's going to bankrupt me. I don't know if I could pay that. I don't know if I can afford that. That's so much money. When what they're getting back is access to triple their income with marketing, lower their cost of goods by 20%. All these things that Genesis is offering to other clinics as well, but people are afraid to pay that or have been afraid to pay that. And sometimes you got to realize, like, look, I took a fucking risk to get here and it paid off. And if I take a risk this next time, okay, the worst it can do is a few thousand or a few 100,000 or at our level, a few million. But that's the price you pay for getting to the next level. That's the price that Brent and I understand, and I understand for my businesses. I have to pay to get to the next level. It's exactly like paying for mastermind groups, getting into other groups. You have to realize that you are going to pay to learn. You're going to pay to grow. And that's how life works. The other way of not paying is going through YouTube, reading books, things like that. But there's got to be some sort of trade. And if you stop thinking that way, if you take that first step, that first risk and say, oh, I built this business, and then you just sit back and never take risks again, your business is never going to grow. Genesis is always taking risks, always trying new marketing, always trying new rollouts of things. I mean, we've changed our processes and procedures in our systems, you've seen over the past 4 years, like 10, 15 times easily. Major changes. Little changes, God, hundreds of little changes over time, over and over and over. And if people are unwilling to change, they're just like, oh, I'm making good money now. They'll never make great money.
Yeah. So scarcity mindset is what keeps people stuck. That's what I hear.
Absolutely.
Hear you saying.
Absolutely. Yes. 100% that fucking scarcity mindset will kill anybody's dreams.
What do you feel like some general or like even best practices are that you've embraced that's helped you pull the trigger on making bigger investments in the business?
I think two things really. One is Brent and I like to operate kind of in crisis mode as much as possible. And what we mean by that, we have reserves in every single one of our bank accounts that can run the clinics for about a month and a half. Beyond that, we don't have any other reserves. Every single dollar that's left over is going out towards something, whether that's an asset for the company, whether that's trying to acquire a new machine, more marketing, etc. All that money is getting pushed back into growth consistently. And we don't keep a lot of money on hand. We can always make more money. That's what we figure. But you can't save your way to being a multi-million dollar company. A company doesn't have, when they're first starting out, large cash reserves. They're churning and burning all that cash, pushing it out, trying to grow the business as fast as humanly possible. So that's number one. Whatever extra dollars you have, general best practice, get it the fuck out there. Get it towards an asset. Get it towards growing the company, keeping those cash reserves as low as you possibly can. And the second part of that is with crisis mode is urgency. There's all those memes nowadays that are like, you know, Colonel Sanders was 64 when he created KFC, and Oprah was 44 when she got her big break, and Harrison Ford was 50 when he really started being a huge actor. So you have time. Don't compare yourselves to others. Fucking bullshit. Like, you don't have time. They say kids grow up in the blink of an eye, and if you have kids, they do. But guess what? You're getting just as old, just as fast in that fucking blink of an eye. You turn around and there's 10 years from your life gone, 20 years from your life gone. You don't have fucking time. You have to attack life with a sense of urgency every single day. And I'm not saying you don't enjoy life. I'm not saying you don't slow down and smell the flowers and enjoy where you've been or where you've gone or what you're doing at the time in the present. But don't fucking sit around and think like, oh, I got time to do it. I'll do that, another day. It's something that I'll go towards. No, that doesn't happen because you're going to end up at the end of your life with fucking regret. And I think there is a great YouTube video out there where they ask all these old people in an old folks home their biggest regrets. And a lot of times their biggest regret was something to the fact of, I wish I would have done more. I wish I would have tried more. I wish I would have failed or, not failed because nobody really wants to fail, but they say they wish I would have tried that thing, even if they would have failed. There's a lot of I wish I would have. And I don't want to live with that. At the end of my life, I don't want to live with I wish I would have. I want to live with, I did and I tried and maybe I failed 90 fucking percent of it, but the 10% I knocked it out of the park. There's a great movie called Big Fish where a father is on his deathbed and the son is sitting there next to him, and the son remembers the father telling him all these stories of his life, like wild stories, like he was in the circus and he dove out of airplanes on D-Day and all in the war, and all these, he's a war hero and a decorated circus actor and all these different things. And the son always thought that they were like fake, crazy stories that his father would make up. And at the end, his son, while his father is passing away, starts to tell him this story, making up this story, and the father enjoys it and he passes away. And the last scene is a beautiful scene in that movie and in the book as well, where the son is at his father's funeral, and all these different people that his father told him about, circus actors and ex-military officers and war vets, and all these people come to his funeral, and he sees them as two different people, as different characters, and they're there as normal people, but he sees them as the characters that they were before. And he has flashbacks, and he realizes like his father was just telling him stories of his life. He wasn't making things up. And I want to live like that. I want to have, like, at the end of my life, I want to have drunk it all. I want to have done it all. And when people say, have you ever done that before? I can say, yeah, I've done that. Or I've been there. Or I've seen that. I want to be able to say that to everything. I want to be the Renaissance man that has done everything, seen everything, been through everything. And I don't have time to waste if I'm going to do that. If my family's going to experience that. I don't have fucking time. You don't have fucking time. Period. You fucking don't. And so in life and in business, realize that urgency and the speed of implementation is the key to success. We've grown to I think we're at 26 locations now in less than 5 years. August 1st will be year 5. And so I want to try and get to 30 by my 5th year. 30 locations in 5 years. It hasn't been because I've been sitting on my fucking ass every day saying, well, you know what? Colonel Sanders was 64. I'll wait till I'm Colonel's age to do something great. No. Every day I fucking wake up and I run. I run every day. And sometimes I fall and I fucking face plant and I roll and I get back up and I run some more. And you just keep fucking going.
And you've invested a lot of time, energy, and money.
Everything.
In order to do it.
I've invested everything.
Yeah.
My life, my money, my time, my energy, everything. Everything is in this. Everything is in what I do every single day. Everything is in my business. Everything is in everything. Like I want to finish life well spent, completely and thoroughly used up.
Well, a recent keynote, you said that people always find resources or money for what they want to spend it on. And so that's more of a statement than a question, but wondering how much you resonate with it. Low-level entrepreneurs are nervous about spending maybe $300,000 on new equipment or a machine or something that's going to get them revenue, or even a building, a lease, but they don't have a problem going out and spending that kind of money on a new Lambo so that they can look good to other people or look good on the gram. And so what are your thoughts on that?
No, it's absolutely 100% true. And I've said this, I think, on stage at another event where I was talking about health and wellness and investing in yourself and investing in essentially your blood work, making sure you're optimal, making sure you sleep well, making sure you have better energy, more, libido, etc. And it was to a large group of entrepreneurs, and all these people had really nice shoes, or, they had Louboutins, or they had like really nice Air Force One Nikes, and they had cool Rolex watches, and they were all trying to posture with that. And there was a ton of them, probably 70%, that were overweight fucking slobs. And not talking down on them because they're fat, talking down because they felt like it was more important to have a nice watch and have nice clothes rather than take care of their own bodies, rather than take care of themselves and how they're going to present themselves and look to other people. Like, that's ridiculous. You want to show off for everyone else, because most of that stuff, it's not for you. It's because you get a feeling of success, or you get some sort of feeling where you want other people to recognize you when you buy that shit for other people. That's essentially what you're doing. You're buying that shit for other people, but you're not going to take care of your own body. You're not going to take care of yourself. You're not going to spend that much money on yourself. And it's the same thing with business, where I see business owners growing, and then they're like, well, I don't know why my business isn't growing anymore, or how can we get to the next level? And you ask them things like, well, do you have a vision? How much money are you investing back into the business? How much money are you spending on yourself, or you taking for yourself as owners. And it's always the same story. Like none of the money is going back into the business anymore. They're hitting a certain number every single month, and they're like, yeah, we get to take 100K every single month from the business. Well, how much of that are you putting back in? Is there any left over of that to put back into the growth of the business, put back into marketing, put back into a bonus structure or anything for your staff members? I mean, the bonus structures in our company in Genesis equal the amount of money that Brent and I make from Genesis every single year. Just the fucking bonuses. We pay out. That doesn't mean the salaries on top of that. So the salaries plus the bonuses means that our employees, the amount of money that comes out of the business towards anybody like working, that's Brent and I included as the owners, the staff is responsible for like 80% of that income in their bonuses, their salaries, everything else. The whatever's left over is for Brent and I. And most of that, Brent and I literally put back into the business to grow it to the next level. Again, we're not spending it on ourselves. Yeah, I bought a McLaren because my piece of shit car died and I needed to buy a car anyways with a note. I was like, I might as well drive something nice at this point because I can afford it. But otherwise, again, we haven't upgraded the house to the point where we can live in a $7 to $10 million home. Steph and I were talking about that the other day, about how we could afford that. And it's like, well, we'd be pretty close to house poor at that point. And it doesn't make sense for us. We don't need the extra space. We've got every kid has a room and I have an office. That's plenty for what we need right now. We don't need extra space. We might need extra garage space soon with that new cars coming. But that being said, we don't spend a ton of money on ourselves or to look good for anybody else. We buy it for ourselves, but we also take care of ourselves. We take care of our health. We have our blood work done. We take care of our kids' health. They eat organic fucking everything and, really healthy foods. They don't have like Lunchables or Snackables or this bullshit or that bullshit. Everything is taken care of in the house. Before we even upgraded to what was outside the house, the cars, the watches, etc., we got fucking nannies and house. They're called mother's helpers. So they come and like do the dishes and the laundry and the shit that we don't want to do. So Steph and I can take care of the kids and play with the kids and change dirty diapers and stuff like that and spend time with the children. And I have entrepreneur friends that have bought, a $5 million home. They'll post about how their home is great. And then they fucking post in the next slide a week later, their wife had like a mental breakdown and is crying on Instagram. And they're so proud of how strong she is because she's raising the 5 kids herself. Like, you're a fucking piece of shit. You want to buy a $5 million house and talk about how awesome your cars are and crap like that, and your wife's fucking having a mental breakdown because you can't, you don't want to have a nanny or a cook or a fucking person to come in and do your laundry. Like, I've unfollowed another friend who actually I'd met in Arate, and literally they have 2 small kids, and his wife, all she fucking does is complain about her life on Instagram. Every fucking day, she complains about her life. My kid's this, my kid's that. I can't sleep. My kid's this, my kid's. He could afford help. He could totally afford help. He could totally afford a night nanny. Guess what? They don't have fucking nanny. They don't have night help. They don't have anything like that. Why? Because it's cooler to buy his fucking Lamborghini that he bought or his like at-home gym that he bought. All that shit, it's cool, guys. Like, it's really fucking cool. Guess what's cooler? Like, having a fucking house and a support system that runs like a top. And so your wife can enjoy the time that she has. That doesn't mean she's sitting on her fucking ass all day long. My wife does a fucking million things around here to make sure that I can do the other million things focusing on the business. She's taking care of the house. She's taking care of travel. She makes sure the kids get into the best schools and are signed up for everything. She makes sure that they see their provider, their medical provider, etc. She does all of that shit. Doesn't mean she should do dishes and crap on top of that. And men are tired and women are tired. Men are tired because they're going to work all day. Women are tired because if they're a homemaker, they're at home with the kids all day, which is a fucking twice as hard job. So if you don't want to come home and take over for mom because she's been fucking working all day, a harder job than you have at your fucking real job, or you think is a real job, then fucking hire someone during the day so she gets a break. So when you get home, at least you can work together, or again, have a fucking nanny at night for a few hours so that you guys can enjoy each other, or just both relax after a long, hard day of work. It doesn't take long, an hour, 2 hours of just relaxing or sitting together or just enjoying each other's company without having to do the fucking dishes or laundry or anything like that. It's not a lot of fucking money. As an entrepreneur, if you're making money, invest in your fucking home life first, so it gives the ability to do these all the other things. People on the gram are so full of shit. I think there was a study that literally just came out that said something to the fact that the most businesses, I think it was like 88% of businesses will never make more than $1 million a year.
Mm.
But on Instagram, it shows completely the fucking opposite of that. All these people are making millions, if not tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars. You're totally behind. Like, fuck Colonel Sanders. This 18-year-old kid is a multi-billionaire. All that stuff is bullshit. It's literally fake. It is fake. And I cannot wait till the day where they invent those fucking Apple glasses. I'm going to be the first person in line to buy those Apple or Microsoft or whoever $1 million idea that literally, like the Sims, you know, the Sims simulation video game that we used to have, that literally has your net income above your little head in a bubble. I fucking will be the first person in line to buy that. I want to invent that. Whoever's out there, if you can invent that fucking thing and just, I don't know, dredge the internet for people's bank accounts and just put a little fucking, you know, net income sticker above their head floating above, that's a fucking $1 million idea, because you'll get to actually see who fucking is real in life and who is just full of shit. And then guess what? All the people who are full of shit, they just fucking go away because they can't make money. They can't make money off of you anymore. They can't lie anymore. I will be the fucking first person in line. That's a multi-billion-dollar idea. Whoever invents that, at least give me some 5% royalties.
You deserve it. That's a great idea.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Well, that would change the game big time.
Totally. I'd be able to walk into a room and be like, that guy is full of shit. That guy is full of shit. It'd be funny because all the entrepreneurs that I know who have big stages and hundreds of thousands of followers and this and that and this, it'd be really hilarious to see them because I know some of them are fucking broke.
Yeah, I have a good girlfriend in Vegas, and she's engaged to one of the top doctors for UFC. And we often had these conversations because in Vegas, you know, you came from Vegas too, flashy. Things are very, very flashy. And that's probably everywhere, but it seems to be more saturated with that mindset in Vegas. And tons and tons of doctors that have these $5 million+ homes, but it's like they have no savings and they live paycheck to paycheck, and it's crazy. And you know, her and her fiance were like, we're not doing that. They paid cash for their house. They live in a beautiful community, but a reasonable home. They redid the whole backyard. I mean, they made the home look incredible, and they paid cash for it. It's like they don't have, you know, so they're living the life because all the money that comes in for both of them, they're both successful. They get to, you know, really just enjoy life together. And, you know, it's cool. And her engagement ring is like next level because of it. Yeah.
No, it's fucking true. It's true. I mean, that's the house poor thing. They're living in a $5 million house, and in the W-2 physician world, even if you're a top surgeon, neurosurgeon, or whatever, you're making like $1 million, $2 million a year, being one of the top in like a hospital-based system. I mean, break that down to your like monthly W-2 income. It's okay, what, 100K? Let's just say it's 100K a month. Then you take taxes out of that, which is going to be like 30, 40%, depending on what state you're in total. So you're living off 60% of that. So you're 60K a month. And then you have a $5 million home. This house that I'm sitting in right now was like 910K. So my mortgage with a 9% is like $7,500 a month. Right? So you multiply that by 5, right? What is that? 35K?
There's half of your income.
Yeah, 35K. You're bringing in 60K net
more
after. And then you're trying to drive a cool car as well because you got to have a Mercedes. So it's like $1,600 a month, and you're probably fucking leasing it, right? And then what is left over? You got like 10, 15, 20K left over, which is gone in a fucking instant when you go and take your wife out to dinner, or you want to buy something nice for yourself, or gas is fucking like $1,000 a month, on your cars. So,
But you also have all the expenses of taking care of a $5 million
yes,
home
100%.
and a
Yeah.
$1,600 car. I
Yeah,
mean,
that doesn't include
there's-
landscaping or the pool guy or anything like that. That seems really fucking cool. Like, that's fucking stupid. And they do that. They all fucking do that.
And I'm like not a hater. Like if you can do it, but be wise about it. It's like doing it within your means.
Yeah,
Like if
absolutely.
you've
It's living
got
below
it
your
and
means.
can
There's
do
no
it, do
reason
it.
you should be trying to buy a $5 million home when you're making a fucking $1 million a year.
Yeah.
It's fucking stupid. It's
Yeah.
stupid.
Well, and going back to entrepreneurship, it's like, have a business that's really a successful business, but doesn't just look like a successful business. It's like reinvesting your money into your business so you can grow and hit that 8-figure mark, but it doesn't just look like it's an 8-figure business, but it's actually an 8-figure business.
Yeah.
And you have to reinvest in that. You can't just drain it and think that you're going to get there.
Yeah, at some point, somebody's going to fucking figure you out. Like it's a very high percentage. I think 90% of businesses will fail in the first year. Then another 90% of those fail by year 5. And then year 10 is really when you have tenured time, you would say, as a business, where it's really difficult to shut a business down after 10 years because they've figured shit out to continuously make money. So that being said, these people, when you start, or they'll start to take their money and they don't put it back into their business. They don't increase their marketing. They don't make their facilities maybe a little bit nicer or their product quality a little bit better. So they're never innovating. And as a result of that, they're not growing. And if they're not growing, they're dying. And somebody is going to come along who's hungrier than you and is going to build a business 10 times faster than you and cut you out or acquire you or push you essentially out of the fucking way.
Mm-hmm.
That's business. Business is literally train tracks of bigger train running over a smaller train. And then there's always a bigger train fucking coming right behind that one. It's consistently. So when you're trying to invest back into your business, the first things you should be investing in immediately is what are the things that are going to allow this business to scale. Focus on scale. What can get me bigger faster? And at the beginning for us, it was growing new clinics, adding new clinics, because we had a good base of employees that we could pick and choose from. They could grow, they could run the new clinics, etc. So it was always investing back into them. Then as we got bigger and bigger and bigger, it was like, shit, a lot of our cost of goods is kind of holding us back. Now let's invest into better partnerships, building a pharmacy, all these other things that would lower our cost of goods over time to, again, increase our valuation and create a moat between our businesses and other businesses. So now we know 12 months from now, we'll have this massive moat where we can beat anybody on price, beat anybody on customer service, provide a high quality medical service in anything that we do. I mean, that in itself, just those 3 parts of the triangle, you can't be fucking beat at that point. If you could beat everyone on price, you could beat everyone on customer service, and you can beat everyone on the product that you gave, usually you can only do 1 or maybe 2 of those. When we can do all 3, and we know we can do all 3 within as little as 12 months from now, it's fucking game over. Nobody can beat us at that point. But that's been literally 5 years of pushing back in, learning about what's the next level, what's the next level, what's the next level.
Well, and you're touching on something really important there, and that's the vertical integration. And we haven't really touched on that yet in this podcast. We've talked about it in other podcasts that we've done. However, when you're talking about investing in your business, if somebody feels like, okay, they're already investing a lot in their marketing, or their facilities don't need upgraded, or whatever the case may be, in the sense that they're looking at it and going, I don't have anything to invest in. Well, then that's when you look at your vertical integrations and you go, what else can you purchase, or what else can you invest in that will make the cost of goods lower? Like what you did with Genesis with the pharmacy. It's like that's what makes a company go from good to great, or be able to go to that eight figure mark. It's like the vertical integrations too. So there's endless ways to reinvest in being able to lower cost of goods and make more money.
Yeah, absolutely. And part of that reinvestment is machinery and what you're looking to add to your business. And Brent and I have a rule where we don't add any machinery or any service to our company until, well, I won't say service. We don't add any machinery. So any big purchases until Q4. And we do that because we're still operating the business to have a positive net profit. We're not operating it like a venture capitalist invested, private equity invested, publicly traded company invested company, which those companies will run negative. They'll spend more than they make for months and sometimes years and years and years. Like Amazon ran 40 years negative profits, in or 30 years negative profits, and continues to do so because they can do it with stocks and valuations and stuff. And a
Mhm.
real business owner, you can't fucking run negative and expect to actually grow. So we only buy machinery Q4 because we want to make sure that, okay, we check our taxes, figure out what our tax burden and our planning is going to be for the next year, and then we buy machinery based off of, hey, what clinics can afford the next machine to lower their tax burden. That's really the way we buy machines and add new services. Other than that, we've gotten to the point, we've done that every single year. We've gotten to the point where we know what machines we want in every single clinic, and there's really not a lot left to buy. Like we'll probably buy some more M Sculpt Neos with M Face machines, some more M Cellas. We have a shockwave therapy machine, a Gainswave therapy machine in every single clinic. We have cool sculpting machines in almost every single clinic. We have Morpheus 8 in a lot of clinics. So maybe we'll buy more of those. We know what machines make money and what machines we haven't made money on, like laser hair removal that I've
Mhm.
talked about in multiple locations. So we've gotten rid of those machines, brought in machines that really make money, increase the value of the company. And as a result of that, those are the machines, those are the things that we invest in and buy at the end of the year to lower our tax burden. Other than that, if your business doesn't need it, don't buy it just because you want to say, we have this. Don't buy it if it isn't in line with your verticals. M Sculpt Neo and M Face are in line with weight loss and hormone therapy. They go together. The men's and women's sexual health, we have the M Cella chair and the Cool Tone. And if you're doing like aesthetics, we use the Exion, the Morpheus 8, things like that for the skin. All those different machines that we have fit into one of our niches. Don't go from treating thyroid patients to being like, I'm going to add an M Sculpt Neo to this patient. It doesn't make sense. You want to make sure that they are within your verticals of what you're trying to do. When you buy a machine or when you add a service to your current line, invest back into things that you are doing already. So if you invest more money into the marketing you're already doing and your marketing you're already doing is successful, guess what? Your cost per lead is going to go down. Your cost per acquisition is going to go down. You're going to get more people and more clicks on your Google or on your Facebook because you're spending more money than anybody else in your area is. That's how you grow. You don't add another service and then push money to this, and you've
Mhm.
got really a bunch of money split up everywhere when it comes to marketing, incongruent messaging, issues with battling $1,000 ad spend here, $500 ad spend here, 750 ad spend here for three or four different services, when the one guy who's focused on one thing has put that 1,000 plus 500 plus 750 plus 250, they've put the full 2,000, 3,000 whatever dollars directly towards one service. They're going to beat you 9 times out of 10 because they're focused.
Yeah, so it's simplifying so you can scale. Like
Absolutely.
which you've done in Genesis multiple times, but you touched on even with the laser hair removal, it was like removing that allowed for more scalability because of what it meant. It removed something that wasn't working well, which freed up a provider in your locations, freed up a room in many cases, freed up all the cost that was associated with actually having a laser hair removal machine. So that ended up being, sometimes it's looking and evaluating, what do I have right now? What do I need to get rid of so that I can simplify this process and scale?
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah, it's not only adding things, you have to audit your time and see what can I cut out. And there's a bunch of cliche phrases where you have to learn how to say no, or you have to learn what to remove. And I've learned that more and more because I always say, yes, 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 I can do more, I can do more, I can do more. And I've ended up in the hospital like 5 or 6 times, which isn't fucking cool because I've overworked myself. At the same time, I have to start to realize and have to start to figure out what I say no to. And I've said no to a few opportunities this year. A few different people I've started to say no more to. So I'm like super proud of myself. I'm like, yeah, you said fucking said no. You said no, you couldn't do that. You would have ended up in the hospital. And I'm just like, whatever, fuck it. I only live once. Might as well test how many lives I have on Earth. But at the same time, you have to prioritize. You have to say, no, I cannot do that anymore. I need to look over here. And I've cut a lot of my, I used to do a lot of collaborating and supervisory roles for other clinics. I've cut out probably 75% of that, including my supervisory roles for Genesis, removing myself. And I lost all that income. But I traded that for more time to be able to focus on the business and the business growth and everything like that. And honestly, you went through the same thing, right? With
Yeah.
Amanda May? Like what was that about? And we had that discussion, right?
As far as cutting things out to
Yeah.
add other
As far
things.
as you
Yeah.
walking away from essentially Amanda May Beauty.
Yeah, I mean, when I came on to Genesis, it was still very much like a collaboration between Amanda May Beauty in the Las Vegas locations and Genesis, where we were working together, but still my own business. And so I had training classes through 2020. I started online training classes. So I'd built out a whole online training system and had people coming through that consistently, 5 to 8 people every month and paying 10,000 a piece. I mean, it
Hmm.
was a nice income that I
Yeah.
had figured out for myself. And then clients years and years and years, like I'd spent so much time in Vegas that I had such a high word of mouth clientele that I constantly had people coming in and getting anywhere from $650 services up to $2,000-3,000 for a
Hmm.
service. And sometimes those services took me an hour and sometimes 2.5 hours. So it was good money,
Yeah.
that I had figured out. Um, it's not an 8-figure business though. And I knew that after a year or so of that I wanted to go to the next level. And I'm like, this is going to keep me in it. I'm going to have to work and work and work and work. And I've had the experience where I've had other people work for me. And as soon as they get good, they take everything I've done and then they go do it.
Yep.
They take my stuff essentially,
Yep.
and then they go do it themselves, using basically
Yeah.
all of my
And then
material.
they think they that was all them. Like they learned all that and they did all that themselves.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah. And then you also have the client relationship where a lot of these people had not just been clients, but had become kind of like friends over time because they come see you consistently for different things. And so, and even with students, you just build relationships with them when you're working one-on-one, like what I was. But I knew that if I wanted to go to the next level, I was going to have to be okay letting that go. And in Vegas, I had a beautiful home. It was 3,700 square feet, 5 bedrooms, a detached casita, brand new build. Nobody ever lived in it before. It was fantastic. Vaulted ceilings. It was like a dream home for me. I loved it. I lived below my means then. And, so I could afford it and it was fantastic. And I let all of that go. I left the house. I left Amanda May Beauty behind to come with Genesis
Yeah.
and, came to Texas and lived in a downtown loft, 1,400 square foot where I didn't even really have a closet
That's
because I was
crazy.
like, there's going to be more. And if I'm going to go to the next level, whatever that looks like, I have to be okay letting go of what I know to be what it is today. Otherwise, I'm always just going to be stuck in this spot. And this is a comfortable spot to be in, not like I'm stuck, as in like, this is terrible life. I had a great life and I did a lot of cool things and traveled and spent money on fancy items like my earrings,
Yeah.
like which we were talking about in the last one of
Yeah.
the last podcasts.
Those
So,
Versace's.
yeah. So, all my fancy luxury items I bought without concern. And so, I had some money saved. And so I was able to make that decision, but it was a scary one. There was a lot of risk. I didn't know what was going to happen. So after a year, it was like, uh-oh, now now when the rubber meets the road, I got to make this work because the money only lasts so long when you've got it saved. And, I want to eventually get back to having a big, beautiful home. I have a nice home. It's not by any means the home that even I had in Vegas, but it's temporary. It's a temporary shift
Right.
to go to the next stage. And the things that we're doing with the skincare line, like that's something that, I know will be an 8-figure business one day.
Yeah.
And so it's like investing that time now to start something or have something that will grow to that point has been, while risky, worth what the reward will be in a few years.
Yeah. Absolutely. You're absolutely fucking right. Sacrifice leads to success. That's how it is. Giving up now. And it's going to lead to incredible growth and gain. And I'm excited about the skincare line. That thing is going to be fucking badass.
Yeah.
And it's already amazing so far. So just with the testers and everything like that.
Well, now that we've talked about all the different aspects of building a business by spending a lot of money to do it, what's the number one thing or principle that you feel like you want everybody that's listening to have in their minds so that they can go to the next level?
Bet on yourself. I mean, the number one investment that is going to pay you back more than anything on fucking earth is investing in yourself. Whether that's more classes to learn how to sell better in your position, or more knowledge about, I don't know, being a computer nerd if you're a fucking computer nerd. I don't know, whatever the fuck that is. The more that you invest in yourself, and self means an extension of that, your business. If you have a business, if you don't, just yourself. You could be an entrepreneur and then move up the ladder in your company or move to another company and have a higher income because you invested in yourself over and over and over. And if you have your own business, investing in your business over and over and over. Hey, I'm making great money. I'm making good money. How do I make great money? Continue to invest in your business. So it's just bigger and bigger and bigger. And nobody can ever fucking tell me, unless maybe it's, I don't know, Elon Musk or it's Jensen Huang from NVIDIA. You can't tell me that your business cannot get bigger. Like maybe they can, like they don't need to get it bigger. They're the top two, some of the top 5 businesses in the fucking world. Expansive, huge, multi-billion, trillion-dollar companies. But your little garage door company, like my little med spa company, our skincare company, they can always get fucking bigger. They can always grow. They can always acquire their competitors. And your competitor doesn't want to sell, everybody's got a fucking price tag. Everyone has a price tag, period, on their life. And so you just got to find out what that price tag is for your competitor, for your colleague, for whoever works in your business. Find out what their price tag is so you can work with them, you can grow, and make sure that you're, again, investing in yourself. Invest over and over and over in yourself. You don't need to fucking diversify. You don't need to do real estate. You don't need to do crypto and hold your money in high art and donate to a zoo to lower your taxes. These are all things literally my tax guy has talked about. You don't. You fucking go all in with your business and you go over and over and over and over and over all in into your business and over and over and over and over and over, like Marshall Lynch says, and over. And you just continue to put it back into your business and you're going to fucking win.
And so for those people who want to invest, but maybe don't have the money just yet,
Mm-hmm.
but they're in the medical entrepreneur space.
Yeah, they fucking do.
You
No,
have
that's
free,
bullshit.
well, where I'm going with it is
Oh, okay.
you have free courses.
Okay,
You
cool.
have free courses.
Oh, yes,
so let's
I got free courses.
Let's say
Just send
they
me money
want to
then.
learn and they want to save money. Just send you money. Yes, they could do that too.
Yeah.
But you have resources for people maybe that want to learn and want to get some of these principles and want to go the next level, but maybe they feel stuck. They
Right.
don't feel like they can invest a lot, or they've got things that they're investing in already.
Yeah.
They can learn from you. They can get a lot from you. Where can they get that stuff?
Absolutely. Guys, I've been there. So if you go to, and I want to help you guys out. So if you go to dralexspinoso.com/free courses, or /courses, not free courses, /courses. All the courses on there are free. I've put on hundreds and hundreds of videos on there teaching you essentially everything that we've done, everything I've done at Genesis, everything I've done at my other companies to help grow and expand my companies. Watch those. You'll learn from them. Listen to the Spinoso podcast, other episodes. We literally talk about the same exact things that I teach about in the videos as well, just in a different way. So that'll expand your knowledge. And I don't want you to have the mindset that you don't have money to invest right now. When I was saving up money for my first business, we had saved up $100,000, and that's when the Arate Syndicate came about. It was a mastermind ran by Andy Frisella and Ed Milet, and it was $50,000 a year. And I had to think, well, am I going to fucking invest half of my savings, half of everything I owned into this? And I did it. And it's changed my life fucking completely. And maybe you don't have $50,000, but at the beginning, I didn't either. I had a few $100s extra a month. And what did I do? I went out and bought books that I could read. I went on YouTube and went on podcasts that were free and listened to other entrepreneurs and how they did it and what they did and what lessons they learned. And I wrote all that shit down and I remembered it all. And I still have that journal of notes of every time I learn something, I'm putting that in my notes. Oh, we should try that. We should try that. We should try that consistently. Now I have it in my phone, consistently learning as much as possible, absorbing it, getting all that free content. So guys, go on there, get free content. If you have a question that I haven't answered, email questions@dralexspinoso.com. I'd love to answer it, or I'll create a video about it. I'm here to help you guys as much as possible. I've been there. I've had nobody to mentor me specifically in this space, so I want to help you guys out. And that's it, guys. That's it for today. I mean, I think that was absolutely great. Amanda, do you have any final word on spending money to make money? Anything to add to that?
Well, I say yes. Like, yes, yes, yes. Like, say yes to life. Say yes to opportunities. Don't let opportunities pass. Like you said, you don't want to regret anything when you get to the end of your life. There's always a way to say yes. And when you say yes, I feel like it just naturally creates abundance in your life. When you say no, you're closed off. You close things from going out, but you also close yourself off from things coming in. So saying yes is a very open, abundant mindset. So as much as you can say yes to things that come your way and things that even just come to mind. Like, I should do that. Yes, go do that. You're right. You should do that. So just say yes as much as you can.
Fucking love it. We're going to end on that. Thanks, guys.